Hello, I'm Joe Foy. I'm the Protected Areas Campaigner for the Wilderness Committee, and today we're going to talk on Coffee Talk about how to protect a beautiful endangered wilderness area very near where I live here in New Westminster in the Lower Mainland. We're going to talk about the donut hole and what we can do to work together to get the area protected. Now, I've been working with the Wilderness Committee for almost 30 years now, and I've worked on protecting wild places like the Stein River Valley, the Carmana Valley, and so many other beautiful areas here in British Columbia, Clayoquot Sound. And I do it because I love it, and I know a lot of you love it too. We live in a spectacular place for wilderness. You go around in other parts of the world and you realize we've got something really, really special here. And today we're going to talk about one of those really special places, the donut hole. First thing I'd like to talk about is how the heck it got its name, the donut hole. It's not really a name, it's a nickname. And I've given a lot of presentations in the past. This one on Facebook Live is kind of a first for me. I'm sitting here on my back porch. It's a beautiful day, but I don't have the tools I normally have, which are like I could give a slideshow, I could show a video. Here I've basically got my hands and me to try to explain what it is that makes the donut hole such a special area and how we're going to protect it. So, I brought with me today some delicious donuts, which are going to help us describe what is the donut hole. In the late 1940s, Manning Park was protected. It's a beautiful area. Today, it's the most popular provincial park in British Columbia. More people visit Manning Park than any other provincial park in the province. If you've visited Manning Park, tell me in the comments below. It's uh, it's in all our sort of so many of our memories. Right next to Manning Park is Skagit Provincial Park. Now, the Skagit was protected in the late 1990s as part of a long-standing campaign over a proposed dam in Washington State, which conservationists on both sides of the border won. The dam was not built, and in the late 90s, the BC portion of the Skagit River was turned into a provincial park right next to Manning Park. And so when the two parks came together, we had a beautiful protected area, but there's a kind of an area right in the middle that we call the donut hole. So, what is this donut hole right in the middle of Manning and Skagit provincial parks? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. This special area, which is 6,000 hectares in size, and which it turns out is endangered. That's pretty good. Mmm. What's that? By the way, today is recycling day, so if you hear a big truck coming in my back alley, we'll just work through it. So the Skagit Manning donut hole, right in the middle of it, is Silver Daisy Peak. It's a glorious area. There's a hiking trail to the top of Silver Daisy Peak. And the water that flows out of the donut hole in the middle of Manning and Skagit parks runs into the Skagit River, which is a spectacular river in British Columbia. It's one of the best, if not the best, habitats for bull trout in the province of British Columbia. People like to fish in the Skagit in British Columbia. They'd like to canoe it. It's a gorgeous river, and it flows south down into the United States, down into Washington State, and makes its way all the way down to the coast. It's Washington State's number one producer of Chinook salmon. It's the biggest producer of chum salmon in the lower 48 states. So it's a really, really important river, on both sides of the border. So why is the donut hole? Why was the donut hole left unprotected? I'd show you my model again, but I've eaten a bunch of it. Why is the donut hole unprotected? Well, there's a mineral tenure in the donut hole, a mining claim which has been there for about 90 years. For 90 years, various companies have been drilling into the mountains, digging up the ground in various places, trying to create a commercial mine with very little success. So 90 years of exploration, but very little success in actually getting a mine. There's no mine in the donut hole right now. But the mineral tenure story is important because it kept it from being protected. And in 2018, everything blew up when BC timber sales came into the donut hole to log in some of the high elevation forests. It was such a shame. These high elevation forests are small trees, really not much good for timber, and that kind of clear cut logging in a high elevation area really causes severe damage. So the Wilderness Committee got involved right from the get-go and really pushed the provincial government, who owns BC Timber Sales, by the way, to get in there and get the logging stopped. It was a real battle, and many environmental groups came in to help. The Sierra Club, Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, Outdoor Recreation Council, BC Wildlife Federation, and many more, all piled in to write to the BC government to get that logging stopped in the donut hole surrounded by our beloved provincial parks. But also, a lot of calls came in from Washington State, from many environmental groups there, from the governor of Washington State. Yeah, the governor of Washington State weighed on this, contacted the premier, as did the mayor of Seattle. This is such a special area for recreation. It's such a special area for water. Also, First Nations from around the area. This area is border country between the US and Canada, but it's always been border country. The Manning Park Donut Hole, what we now nickname that, the Manning Park Donut Hole, up in the headwaters of the Skagit, has always been part of Inuktitut areas where the Inuktitut, especially from the community of Spuzzum, would go up there to harvest materials. Also, the Stolo communities all around Hope would access that area. The Silk-speaking communities in the Okanagan, the Upper Similkameen, and the Similkameen headwaters is all up by the Donut Hole, and all the downriver tribes in the Skagit would also use this area. So, very important border area culturally, for water, for wildlife, and for this beautiful park. So it really caused a storm. And in December of 2018, people weighed in and really pushed hard. And in December of 2018, the provincial government announced that the BC timber sales would no longer be allowed to log in the donut hole. So that's a great success story. But right about that time, Imperial Metals, yes, the same Imperial Metals, the same mining company that had the 2014 disaster at Mount Polley, where all that tailings pond came down, announced they wanted a mineral exploration permit for the next 5 years in the donut hole. In the 90s, Imperial Metals got a hold of that mining tenure, which had been previously held by other companies. They hold it today, and they applied in 2018 for a permit to start drilling and digging up, even after 90 years of this kind of exploration, digging up in the donut hole. Well, it went crazy. I mean, the environmental groups, the First Nations, the tribes, the leadership in Washington State all pushed back heavily. Nobody wants to see Imperial Metals digging up the donut hole, and nobody believes they'll actually have a mine. So, where is the campaign now? The campaign now is about getting Imperial Metals tenure extinguished in the donut hole. And to do that, we need our provincial government to help. There's a cross border commission, the Skagit Environmental Endowment Commission, which was formed when that U.S. dam was stopped back in the 1980s. And that commission's task now is to negotiate with Imperial Metals and to negotiate a price to buy out that tenure. The problem is Imperial Metals is holding out for a higher price. Oh, and a robin just landed here on the back porch having a drink out of having a little bit of drink of water. Hi, Robin. Imperial Metals is holding out for a higher price. And really, what is their tenure worth? We don't think it's worth much. After 90 years of trying to find a mine, no mine has been found. It sits right in the middle of two of our most beloved provincial parks on an international river. Any mine that would go there would be huge and would require water, which would come out of the headwaters of the Skagit River, an extraordinarily sensitive trout stream. Any pollution that would come from the mine, and we've certainly seen a lot of mine pollution in other mines, would go into the Skagit River and would be disastrous for fish populations here in British Columbia and in Washington State. There will never be a mine. That tenure is, in our view, worthless. What worth is a tenure that will never result in a mine? So the province really has to step up and get involved here, and that's where I'm asking asking you folks to get involved. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post in our comments section here some of the ways that you can get involved in helping out. I'm also going to check out some of these comments that are piling in here. I see, look at this. My first trip to Manning Park was for skiing when I was 13. So many great stories. Look at this. From a leading environmental activist. Manning Park helped me fall in love with natural settings as a kid. Yeah, that's what's important about our provincial park system. So let me just get a few links here, which I can put into our comments section. Let's see. We'll pull this guy open. Okay, what's the first link I should throw in there? Why don't we put in the link that allows you to write to Forest Minister Doug Donaldson and Environment Minister George Heyman, and we'll get that one rolling, because those are the two ministers that have been most involved. Those are the two ministers that, for instance, announced the end to logging by the BC timber sales. So let me, back in December of 2018. There we go. Got that down, and let's go back and have a peek at some of the other comments that have come in here today. People like the robin. So here's a good question. What are the species that are found in the donut hole area? The donut hole area is really, really important because it's a gateway between Washington State and British Columbia for wildlife. For instance, British Columbia's spotted owl population has been really hammered by the continuing logging of old growth forests. If we're going to get spotted owls back up to healthy numbers here in the province of British Columbia, they're going to come from Washington State, where south of the border in the North Cascades National Park and all their many other protected areas, there are extensive old growth forests. So we need places like the donut hole to remain intact to allow species like spotted owls to move north. Similarly, British Columbia has grizzly bears, and the North Cascades National Park has lost its grizzly bears and is hopeful that bears will travel through that Skagit, Manning, Donut Hole area back into the province. So it's really, really important for the conservation of grizzly bears on both sides of the border that those areas remain intact. Let's see what else I have for you today. We talked about people's people's experiences in Manning Park and why the donut hole is just so darn important to people. Let me, where are we here? Where's my, there we go. Let's put that guy in there. Oh no, I don't want to search. Bring this guy down here. There we go. There's my little comments. Let me stick that guy right in there. Okay. And we just put a little photo of one of the first times I visited Manning Park was 1964. I've grown up in the Lower Mainland, and our family has tremendous memories of visiting that beautiful park. And that's one of the reasons I so much enjoy working on the donut hole. I should say that because of this campaign, I've been going up into the area a great deal, and the donut hole, besides having great mountain scenery. Oh, I can hear the recycling truck coming down the alley. So if it gets a little bit loud, that's why. The donut hole no longer has great mountain scenery, but it also has these magnificent, intact, old growth covered valleys, like 26 Mile Valley. It also has Silver Daisy Valley with a hiking trail through it. And man, you get up on the ridge and you look down into those glorious valleys, and you know why it's so important to protect these beautiful, beautiful areas. I just want to add in another link as the recycling truck comes through the alley on its important work. And that will allow me to throw in this link. Yeah. So if you want to financially support our work to protect the donut hole, I think this is going to be a really, really critical year. And I have added a link to how you can donate to the campaign. You just write in your, holy mackerel, there goes the recycling truck, right by the, right up the alley. You just click on that link and you can make your donation, put in a little note that you would like to help out with the campaign to protect the Manning Park, Skagit, donut hole. And it'd be really, really important this year. We'll be going back and forth to the area. We'll be reaching out to build a good, strong make sure our coalition is good and strong between the tribes, the First Nations, and the various environmental groups that I mentioned. Bring in others. Really want to push hard to get the provincial government to really push back on imperial metals and ensure that the Skagit Environmental Endowment Commission succeeds in purchasing that mineral tenure back from the company. Let's just have a let's see here. Yeah, so it's a great campaign. We're all kind of locked down due to COVID right now. I'm working at home, but you know what? Things are going to relax a little bit. We'll be able to get out on the land. The Manning Park Donut Hole is accessed just past Samalo Grove. So you go up Highway 3 out of Hope. You go past Samalo Grove, continue up Highway 3 until you get to the Cayuse Flats kind of day use area. You pull in there, and there's the road that accesses both the logging areas in the heart of the two parks, and also the mining tenure. And you can hike up there. A lot of people go up there for winter skiing, and then for summer hiking, summer mountain biking. You can go up there, and up top in the pass, you can look down in that gorgeous 26-mile valley, gorgeous wilderness area. Really do your heart and soul good. Just a beautiful, beautiful place. That's in the donut hole. That's what we're trying to protect from logging and mining. We're going to do it with your help. We're going to succeed this year, and we're going to see the provincial government declare that area as a protected area in consultation, cooperation with the indigenous communities that surround it. The Stolo, the Inkatnak, the Silk, the Skagit, and all the people that have always lived with that beautiful, beautiful area. We want to see that passed on into the future. My name is Joe Foy. This is my first Facebook Live. Really happy to be able to talk to you today about the fabulous donut hole area. Oh yeah, a toast to the donut hole. Thanks for being with me. This has been Coffee Talk. Next week, tune in, same time, same place, to hear our own Peter McCartney, the Wilderness Committee's climate campaigner, come to you live on Wilderness Committee Coffee Talk. Bye for now.